On a normal day, Lara, returning from work, approached the door of her apartment, and she noticed that her heart was beating very hard. This had never happened before. Opening the door lock, she gently opened the door and entered the apartment in a slow step. The husband was at home and spoke to someone on the phone. "Okay, I understood you. Just I can't believe it." I ended the phone conversation. He heard his wife come in, and a voice was emitted from the next room. "Lara, I'm at home, dinner on the table." Bob never cooked himself, did not show tender care towards his wife, and Lara was alerted. "Yes, you are great. I don't even know what to say," Lara said in a surprised voice. "By the way, why did you come from work so early? Do you have a meeting today?" asked the spouse. My husband's eyes ran all over the room, and he answered, "The boss today postponed the meeting to another day, until I know which one. And today we checked the documents. I did everything quickly and went home." "Aren't you happy about that?" asked the spouse. Lara took Bob's hand and said excitingly, "No, what are you? I am very happy about this. Glad that I have such a caring and attentive husband. But only I remember that you cook when we have some kind of holiday, and today there seems to be nothing." Lara wondered. Bob decided to take the situation into his own hands. There was no celebration today. As Bob said, he just wanted to please his wife, leaning into the fact that they spend little time together and thus wanted to arrange a warm home evening. It would seem that everything is fine. The husband at home, prepared dinner. But this whole situation embarrassed Lara. She noticed how her husband's eyes run, how nervous he was, how he did not agree on something. She remembered all the events of the past week, but there was no reason for doubt. Throwing all thoughts aside, she kissed her husband and went to change clothes. While Bob was setting the table in the kitchen, she was looking at their bedroom. The room was clean, the clothes were ironed, the dust was wiped everywhere, but only on the table was some kind of photo. It showed 3 people, Lara herself, Bob, and a family friend. With a shrug, she put the photo on the table and went to the kitchen. The dinner was great, aside from the fact that Bob kept quiet the whole time. He looked at his wife very strangely. From this, Lara felt not deftly, as if she was under interrogation. But the female flair suggested that the husband was worried about something, or suspected something. But Lara understood that she had nothing to hide from her husband because she never even deceived him. Nothing happened at night after a delicious dinner. Bob fell asleep quickly, and Lara lay on her back for a very long time and looked at the ceiling. She had very strange thoughts in her head. Did he really fall out of love with me? We have been living for only 4 years. This is not so much that feelings disappeared and addiction appeared, all the spouse thought. At work, Bob was doing well. They did not have children to somehow worry about. And Lara immediately remembered the very photo that lay on the table. She tried to connect her husband's wary mood with this photo, but nothing occurred to her. Logical conclusions did not suggest themselves. On the contrary, more questions appeared, and the most interesting question was why Bob cooled to Lara. She has long noticed Bob doing all his courtship attempts through the power of his capabilities. There was a feeling that he was not pleased to do it. In the morning, my husband went to work, did not even have breakfast. Lara was even more surprised. She took out a notebook from the bedside table. In it, she found the number of her longtime friend, with whom she had not called for many years. A friend answered the call instantly, as if she had been waiting for it all morning. Lara didn't know where to start the dialogue, but it never occurred to her how to say hello to her. "Hello, Emma. How long ago you and I did not call," Lara said with a trembling voice. But Emma was a very cheeky and hot-tempered friend. She always didn't like something. "What do you want?" Emma asked. "You're obviously not calling me to say you're missing," Emma continued. Lara blushed. She didn't know what to answer her and had no choice but to ask Emma to come over for a conversation. Lara had no one else to call at this point. Of course, the friend did not really like this idea, but surprisingly she agreed to come. An hour later, Emma was already at Lara's. Lara needed to somehow start a dialogue, so she decided to dilute the situation and take everything into her own hands. They went to the table in the kitchen. Lara made a quick coffee, took out various sweets, and also sat down at the table. She began to ask about life, how she was doing, and what was new. Emma laughed, but in a snide voice she talked a little about her life. Emma, out of solidarity, also asked how she was doing. Lara was silent and asked at one point, "Do you think you can fall out of love in marriage?" "I just don't understand, Bob. He has lost the desire for sincere actions." Emma frowned her eyebrows and decided to clarify. "Something I do not understand. As far as I know, your husband is a very serious and respected person. He will not take liberties." Lara agreed with Emma and added, "I mean the things he once did for our love." Lara started telling the story. "Remember when we went to nature together? He jumped off a cliff into a river, enough from a great height. And recently, we went to the sea with him, so he made such a show on the beach that I even felt a little ashamed, and everyone around is funny and fun, but I still love him for who he is. However, recently my husband practically does not pay attention to me, talks less, does not ask how I am doing and what is new at work. He has changed a lot, perhaps even cooled," Lara told in a thin voice. Emma was a very strong girl, put her hand under her chin and asked, "Or maybe he has a mistress?" "Work has no effect on the deterioration of attention to his wife," Emma added. Lara began to panic from such words. She was afraid that her husband would leave her or tell her that he no longer loved. Lara got up from the table, looked out the window, moved her breath, and sat back at the table. "Yes, it cannot be that Bob cheated on me," Lara said in her hoping voice. "I know him. He is not capable of this. Yesterday, for example, he made me a very tasty dinner, although he was silent all evening and did not hug me at night, but these are trifles, otherwise we have no problems." Lara reassured herself. But thoughts in the head haunted. If the husband chills to his wife, then he spends his emotions on his mistress, and there is no time left for his wife. The girls chatted a little on distracted topics but did not draw any serious conclusions. Not long before his husband came home, Bob called his wife and said that they would have a very serious conversation today. Lara did not understand what it could mean and began to worry a lot. After Bob came home, he began the conversation with his woman's accusations. "I know everything. I know you are cheating on me," Bob said in a rude voice. "And don't try to make excuses. Jackson told me everything about how you met with him in the cafe," Bob continued. It was, as you can imagine, about that very family friend. He was a major entrepreneur at the firm where Bob worked. Lara immediately recalled that she was actually dining in a cafe with Jackson, but it was not a binding meeting, nor a small hint of continuation, much less treason. "You're wrong," Lara said with a trembling voice. "You make hasty conclusions." "I don't deny it, but we were just talking to him." Lara was making excuses. "I can't even imagine who could dissolve such gossip," continued to speak spouse. However, Bob did not believe his wife and asked to pack up soon and leave the apartment. Lara tried to say something, but Bob didn't even want to listen. He said his last word. Lara collected all the most necessary things, called a taxi, and went to her parents. She was all in tears and told her mom the whole conversation she had with Bob today. Lara's mother was a wise woman, but she didn't like the whole situation. "Yes, I know Jackson well. He is a decent person. It seems to me that all this was adjusted and their meeting was planned on purpose," my mother thought. Lara did not know what to do. She felt like a driven animal into a cage, and tears continued to flow through the stream. The mother continued to calm down her daughter and says, "It seems to me that this is somehow connected with your husband. He does not agree on something. Jackson could not do that, and his family is good." Mom agreed. Lara scrolled through the conversation with her ex-friend, recalled all her words that men just do not cool off to their women. This requires serious reasons, and the first thing that comes to Lara's mind is that Bob has another woman. Most likely in this way he simply decided to get rid of his wife. Only why he did not say this, Lara thought. After all, the whole truth will sooner or later come to light. Lara had a lot of thoughts, so she decided to just wait so as not to worsen the situation. The next day, Emma called her and said that she saw Bob come to someone else's address, only said that she did not see who met him. "Sorry it all came out like this. It all happened quickly and I couldn't recognize my mistress," Emma said. She offered to follow Lara's husband. She thought for a long time about this and realizing that it would not be right. She still agreed to this desperate step. An hour later, Lara came to see Emma. She immediately asked what was new. But Bob had not come out yet, so they could only wait. While talking about various topics, they noticed that Bob left the entrance with some woman. Lara, not thinking long, ran towards him. Bob was surprised and asked Lara what she was doing here. She stood with a grin and said, "Yes, I was passing by. I saw that you were here with another girl. Can you introduce me?" Lara asked. Bob pointed his hand at the girl and says, "Get to know each other. This is the mother of my child." Lara turned pale from what she heard and stood, not knowing what to answer. Bob offered to go to the cafe and tell everything so as not to aggravate the situation. He started telling, "Lara, before you, I had a wife with whom we were together for a very long time, and we have a child together." Lara had a lot of questions, but the first she asked was why he kicked her out of the house, because she did not cheat on him. To which he replied, "Jackson said that if I do not divorce you, he will tell you everything about this situation, and I did not want to disturb you with my problems. I thought you would forbid me to see a child, and somehow help them in every possible way. He ended up meeting you anyway, and I thought Jackson got what he wanted." Put his eyes down. The truth was revealed from an unexpected side. The couple realized that they had become victims of the insidious Jackson. That's where our story came to an end. What do you think about this? Write in the comment.